Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another Money Space with me, Kalu Adra. On this space, we're talking money, the economy, personal finance. We want to make you a better investor by giving you those tools, that information that allows you to make more informed decisions. That's what we do here every Sunday, 7 p.m. West African time. And this week we're talking fixed income, right? More or less, we want to talk around the Central Bank of Nigeria, interest rates in Nigeria, and how you, as the investor, the listener, can invest your money to get what we call a real rate of return. Now, the Central Bank is going to meet this week, that's Monday. They're going to have what's called the Monetary Policy Committee meeting, the MPC meeting, right? And that meeting sets the monetary policy rate. In simple terms, that policy determines the interest rate or the that other banks will borrow from. I.e., look at it this way. If the Central Bank of Nigeria says that the monetary policy rate is, say, 10%, for instance, what that means is that if banks want to borrow money from the Central Bank of Nigeria, right, they have to pay 10% to the Central Bank of Nigeria as interest. What that then means is that in the entire economy, everyone, all the banks are going to lend to you at 10 plus, right? Because the bank cannot lend you money lower than where they are borrowing from. So once the Central Bank of Nigeria sets that monetary policy rate, what that means is that everyone in Nigeria is going to then borrow from that monetary policy rate. That's what's going to happen next week on Monday, right? And we want to then talk about the economy of Nigeria. Where are the opportunities? If you don't want to invest, say, in equities, you want to invest in what we call fixed income, right? Which is like you want to give money to someone and the person will give you a guaranteed rate of return. What should you look out for? What rate is acceptable to you, right? What is the inflation rate in Nigeria? And then what rate then gives you a real rate of return? Because one of the rate you're going to get, less inflation, gives you the rate at which is real to you. That's what I want to talk around today. I've got a guest. I see him on here, but I want to accept my speaker invite, and then we can bring him on up, and then we can talk around the economy. It's going to be a fantastic discussion, guys. Yeah. So hang in there. I see him. Yeah. All right. Let me do this. Give me a second, guys. Yeah. So I have you. I've got Steve from Banker here with me. Steve, you got to accept my request to speak. Once you accept, then you are going to be able to be a speaker, and then you can speak. Excellent. So, guys, let me just run down before we get the speaker in here. Let me just give you numbers, right, to back up what I've talked about. The monetary policy rate today is about, let me see, just make sure I got that rate right, about 26.75, right? Just round figure 26. What this means is this, right? When the Central Bank of Nigeria sees a lot of cash in the system, it takes out that cash by increasing its NPR. So the central bank is like a guy at the bartender, like a bartender. If the party is getting very, very heated, the central bank will remove the alcohol from the party. So the central bank would raise interest rates so that money becomes very, very expensive. And because money is expensive, inflation tends to reduce because there's not enough free cash to go around to drive velocity of money. When the central bank sees that the economy is going down, is slowing down, it will reduce interest rates, right? So that money can be borrowed easily and then you guys can then invest. But it has to do this in line with expectation. If there's too much money, there's inflation. But when there's inflation, economy activity falls. If there's less money, so there's less inflation, right? There's economic activity, but then you have overheating of the economy. So without further ado, I've got my guest here, Angley. Stephen, hi, you want to mute and introduce yourself?
Hi, Kalu. for having me. Stephen Amodio from Banking Microfinance Bank. Thank you.
Hey Stephen, how you doing? Nice for you to be here. Thanks for accepting the offer to come in and just talk. Like I said, just drill down top to bottom. Let me go to the first question. What's your take on the Nigerian economy? Let's talk about the economy as a whole. What do you see? If you had to score the economy, how would you talk around it?
Yeah, thanks, Kalu. So generally, the economy is a continuum. Why everyone might talk about the boom and the public spaces, the news media, and everyone will talk about the negative part. So we just need to acknowledge that nothing stays the same. Good means not being where you are, and things are going to evolve. And as the global economy becomes closer, things happening in America, statements in America, what's happening on Wall Street affects us almost within minutes, if not hours, right, in Nigeria. So it's a continuum. So we just need to take advantage of wherever it is, try to reduce the asymmetry, and just take the best decision based on the constraints around. So that's the way I would judge it right now.
Take advantage of opportunities in the Nigerian economy. I got you. But let's just can you introduce banking to us? What is it? What are you guys into? What's the corporate story? Where's that name from? That sound is it Bankole? Can you just give us an intro into banking?
Yeah. So banking story is one of success, is one of growth. It started in 2019. You recall the issue with the local thrift collectors, what we call the Alajo Isusu collectors. There's a story of stories that touch the heart, where you have your Isusu collector just running away with your money. So bank came to the market just to digitize that, right? Where even though you have someone that is trusted that comes to your area, that sells convenience to you, that sells savings to you. But banking now came into the market just to solve that, to say, okay, just between yourself and the super collector, then there's another intermediary. So that was the story of banking. We came into the market just with that trusted partner to form like a tripartite between the super collector, you, the seller, right? So as we evolve, after that, I think within 2 years, we got another license from CBN. We evolved into intensive banking, and 2 years ago, we got our NFA license. So we evolved from digitizing cards, being that trusted partner, to become a tripartite between the Susu collector and the contributor into now becoming a full-fledged microfinance bank. Also,
I think I lost you at the end. You said you got a license to be a microfinance bank.
Yes, microfinance bank, full-fledged licensed microfinance bank, also licensed by NDIC.
Gotcha. Okay, excellent. So I mean, banking in Nigeria to me seems crowded. Like even microfinance banks, and they are all in one state. Maybe they are all in quote unquote Lagos. So what are you guys doing differently, right? What is that? What are you looking for a different demographic? Are you doing how are you guys different from the other guys I know of?
Yeah, thanks so much. If as a business you want to solve problem, to the last person that requires that empathy gets out of that dungeon, that hole, then there's still work to be done. If you look at the financial inclusion numbers, as long as you still have millions that are financially excluded, as long as you still have majority of Nigerians not being able to access credit, as long as you have more than 60-70% of Nigerian GDP, just like in every other economy, controlled by consumption, meaning consumers, and that consumers not being able to access credit, then there is still work to be done. So Banking has been in the market. Banking Microfinance Bank has been in the market in the last 2 years to just help us capture and solve that problem, right? And our approach to solving that problem is not something that you say is out of place. We just want to capture them very, very young. We want to capture people's lifestyle as things are evolving. We want to capture the younger demographic, right? The guys that nobody will trust today. So we just find ourselves to say we want to be the African life, in a lifestyle microfinance bank or financial institution. So Africa is the target, right? But we want to start from that demography that's exactly earning, but that no one will trust, right? Not necessarily because they're not earning well, not because they're not earning a recurring revenue, but because the people before them maybe spoils the show. The bad eggs spoils the credit market. So we just want to capture them very young. Our approach is just to capture people in education or who are just about entering the labor market. So we're working with education institutions just to capture them. Yesterday, we're working with NYSC just to capture them to say, as you're coming on board, Bank is there to support you.
All right, gotcha. So, Stephen, I won't lie, right? The reason why I'm really intrigued in Bankley is that offer you guys had up on social media. I think I saw it last week for about 35%. You know, lots of people have, my DM was hot. People are asking me, is this real? Why are they paying 35%? Is this MMM? What are they doing with the money and all that? I got lots of questions. You know, I tried to answer some. I said, good idea for you guys to come in. And you guys also took me further and said, why don't we just move an educational series we're doing right now? It's called Fixed Income Fridays. You guys are sponsoring that. So we're talking every Friday around educating people about the fixed income concept. What is yield? What is the return? That's ongoing. You guys are doing that. I appreciate that. But let's talk about that particular offer. If you could walk me through it, what's Invest Pro? Why are you guys paying 5%? Is it sustainable? Just walk me through it. I'm sure lots of folks will have questions here.
So I love the way you started the conversation talking about real interest rates, talking about real return, right? So in Nigerian economy today, if you put 1 million in a conventional business and 1 million in a conventional business, and maybe you get a return of 20%, that's actually below inflation, right? So that means your capital is actually being eroded. What that means is that after 1 year, 20% interest rate after 1 year, what that 1 million will be able to do for you today, even with your 1.2%, 120% at the end of 12 months, you will not be able to afford what that 1 million will have afforded you today, right? So what we're doing right now is just us being radical, just trying to distinguish ourselves. For a startup like Bankley, we see that in our editing. Yes, we are 5 years, but we just want to do things differently. As it is today, do we have institution and SMEs who would want to do? They're not even willing to borrow for 6 months. They're not willing to borrow for 1 year. They're not constructing a refinery, looking for 6 months moratorium. But these are guys that just do overnight interest rates. So these are just controls, and they are trusted and valued businesses, right? So we have all those that today we are Bank. Right, and so if you analyze the request from those people, and if we look at the request from those people, we are going to make our margin. And like I said, startup like Bankley today. If you look at our costs, right? Startups will spend tens of thousands on AWS, hundreds of thousands on advertisement costs, tens of thousands on billboards all over the country, sponsoring live shows, right? So the cost is actually being spent to acquire customers in one shape or form, right? So that money is also being expended. So in this case, we just thought about, why not just return this money to the guys that would actually give us for the long haul, instead of me giving money to some companies that are registered in Delaware, registered in Ireland. Let's try and share this money. Let's announce Bankley. Our customer acquisition cost. Let us spend on these people that should actually be with us for the long run. Right? So it is just like us being empathetic and just showing our empathy to say, let's share this money with our customer. They are our partner, and we need to be together for this long run.
So what we're doing, Stephen, if I invest 2 million with Bankley, I get 35% per annum on the funds I invest.
Very correct.
Very correct.
That's what's going to happen, and that's because it is not evident. It is not evident, and it is not because we are just throwing money away. It is because we can actually cover that.
Okay.
If you recall, without mentioning name, one of the investment grade obligors, and this is a customer that without mentioning name, if you look at all the commercial banks in Nigeria, that obligor is actually in their top borrowers list. That's the principal, the focal person, the mouthpiece of that institution was just complaining how would they expect him, quote unquote, in this time around, identity to actually be borrowing at 30%. So we have institutions that are rated AAA already borrowing at 30%. If you speak to all the SMEs out there, they are already borrowing at maybe as high as maybe 40%, 45% interest rate, 45% interest rate per annum. Right, so it is just banking saying, you know what, we want to acquire customers, we want to get known, we want to do things differently, we want to really just spend our cost on the people, on our partners, on our customers.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're trying to do.
I hear you, because NIBOR, that's the Nigerian Interbank Offer Rate. It's not a retail rate, but just give us just guidance. NIBOR is about, for 1 month, about 28%, 3 months, 28%, 6 months, about 29%, overnight, 31%. So this is not a retail quote, but it just gives a background to what you're talking about. That capital is expensive in Nigeria. And I hear you say your demographics is more or less the younger folks, the guys NYSC, year one, entering the work market. So those guys they can invest 5,000 naira and get 5% on their money per annum. Okay. Any other benefit there? Can they? What else can they do? Can they borrow it? They need cash. They have money with you. 1,000 naira. Is it allowable? Can you discount for them? What those are they existing?
So like every other business that's in entity as intermediation business, the end goal is actually to create credit to reward the people. So for banking, that's the end goal. You need to come in. When we see your transaction, when we see what you're earning. So beyond the 35% investment pro, we really want you to come in as a customer banking. That's the end goal. And when you come in, right, when we see your transaction, when we see your financial results, we pre-qualify you before you even speak to us. And also because we have algorithms and artificial intelligence that can tell us about what you do, how frequently your money comes in, then we can just easily approach it and say, you know what, Kalu, we can see your 5K comes in day in, day out. You can save more, even top up your investment pro, and end still double-digit investments even outside your first month of your first initial investment. And also you can actually be assessed for credit. Yes, so it's permissible. Credit is actually the end goal for us.
I agree with you. I have a lot of DMs. I'm going to really read those DMs out to you. Lots of people are asking questions. Guys, if you want to ask a question, request to speak, send a DM to me, and I'll get back to Stephen to answer those. But Stephen, just for the consumer credit, this is the deposit side of your business. What about consumer credit? We talked about at the very, very beginning. I saw a report, 2008. Only 2% of Nigerians had ever taken a loan from a bank in Nigeria. Only 2%. The latest figure I saw as of last year, I think that figure is now 14% of Nigerians have ever access to this from a formal banking institution. What are you guys doing on that side, on the credit side now, not the deposit side?
Yes, so this is a macro issue, and like I tell some of my friends and colleagues in the industry, is a question of who are you? Consumer credit is an identity management question, right? How do I ensure that Kalu doesn't become stealing tomorrow? How do I ensure the property or the cash flow upon which I've assessed Kalu actually belongs to me? And how do I affirm that saving doesn't turn to a woman tomorrow or doesn't declare himself dead tomorrow, right? So those are the questions, and those are the kind of learnings that has been baked into the credit system in Nigeria. It doesn't make it right? But it is just experiential learning that has become like a policy on written rule, right, in Nigeria. For us, like I said, for Bankley, we just need people to come in, right? We are also willing to actually take a higher risk on people that we know. Right, we're willing to take higher risk on people that we know. We're willing to take higher risk. Yes, people think it comes with a cost, right? But it is something we're able to do, and that's because we're actually catching these people very, very young, right? We are not going to be reckless, but we are just lend to people. It's a macro issue till GSI comes into place, till I ensure that when Stephen takes my money, even when he's relocating to America or relocating to the UK, I will still be able to get my money, right? That's the end goal. But we just understood that credit market is a puzzle that we must all solve. So it's a collective and a macroeconomic problem that we all need to tackle. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So let me just ask you a real question on DM. Someone's asking me, can I open up a corporate account and still enjoy 35,000 or 35%, or it's only for consumer side of the market? So that's my DM.
Yes, so it is consumer for now. It is consumer for now. And don't forget the demographic that I mentioned. That doesn't mean that if a corporate wants to invest, they cannot invest, but we will not take money from corporates directly from downloading our application, because that's the number one acquisition channel today. But when people want to, when corporates really want to to bank with banking, because we also have some other corporate offering, they can just send it to partnership@banking.ng and then we pick it up from there. That's for corporates.
Okay.
But InvestPro is specifically for the consumer and the retail business.
Okay. Second question for you. Someone is asking, I read online that this is on my first deposit. Can you explain that? What first deposit means?
Yeah, thanks so much. And thanks for that question. I would have still talked about it. So it's actually one of the T's and C's. And that's one of the things we just want to use to attract people. So the 35% we only be paid on the first investment, meaning the first lump sum. What that means is that if today Kadu wants to invest 1 million, he can invest that 1 million for 365 days and you get a 35% interest rate. Let's now assume that Kadu eats another jackpot and we want to invest another 500k. That 500k will not come at 5%. That 500k will come at 20%. So the teaser says that the first investment is 35%, then subsequent investment will be at 20% interest rate.
Okay. Last question, just on the DM side. Just to clarify, I think I clarified that 35% is per annum, it's not per month. Just clarifying that no, it's per annum, it's not per month. If you invest for 6 months, divide that by 6, divide by 10 up. So it's per annum. Anytime you hear an interest rate being quoted, that's per annum. That's the question I'm getting here. Let me come back to you, Stephen. Just broader economy, what are the opportunities that you see? Because you are at the forefront of giving out credit and all that. Where is the smart money going to? Where is the retail money going to?
So retail money is going to the expenses that cannot be avoided. And it's still around food, it's still around transportation, it's still around consumption. I mentioned that around the GDP, right? So as it is today, whether you like it or not, irrespective of the cost of food, irrespective of the cost of a meal, yes, you can reduce your meal, but you will see it's because that's where you derive your energy from, right? So things around consumption, things around transportation, things around rents. These are things, especially in a city like Lagos, these are things that people cannot really avoid, right? So that's where money is still going into. Some other consumptions consumptions like maybe entertainment, those can actually be pushed to make things better, right? So money is still going after consumption. So if you're in consumption business or you're in food business, you can provide good customer experience, then you're still in for the money. And like I mentioned when I was introducing myself, talking about the economy, things are just in cycle, right? If you were born in the 1910, just after the war, when things were booming, you would think that's how things would happen until the 1918 depression happened, right? So it is just a cycle. So this will not also continue, right? We've seen in America, for example, Fed is trying to reduce interest rates. Like you mentioned, which is like the crux of this conversation. We do not necessarily expect the MPC to be as aggressive as they've been in the last 1 year, because they also want to ease things. Yes, can be argued to say, okay, maybe the fuel cost has also gone up. They might be foreseeing the inflation, but they will not average over the last 12 months be aggressive as they've been, right? So things will continue to ease, and as things also get lower, then things will also pick up again. So it's like almost a cycle. Right? So things will always be better. So it's just for us to be disciplined enough to not throw in the towel when the good part is also coming in the next few months.
I hear you. Yeah, good point. That you're asking a lot of DMs. He's right here. This is the CEO right here. You can ask him those questions. I see all your questions. He won't bite. Go ahead, pick the mic, ask the question. We'll learn together, right? Because the CEO is right here. We're talking with the guys from Invesco Bankley. They have a fixed income product, what we call fixed deposit in Nigeria. You invest, you get 35%. He has given us a background to how they got that 35%. I mean, it's not an outrageous number if you consider NIBOR and the other rates out there, which is fantastic. It's a per annum rate right there. And essentially, he's here. So you can ask him those questions that you want to ask your banking. Any banking needs you know on the space. So let's get Victor. What's in your mind, Victor?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Victor, your audio help me out now. Yeah, okay.
Course product I have gone through and I really enjoy.
Oh, Victor, fix that. Or let me get D. Victor, fix that audio. Come right back. I'm going to get D to speak, and then Victor, I'll come back to you. Fix that audio. D, what's on your mind?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Really enjoyed the space.
Yes, Victor, hold on. Let D finish. I'll have you real quick. D, go ahead. Victor, yeah.
Okay, yes, I had a couple of questions. So the first question is this available to international customers? That's the first question. And the second question is, can you just help me understand? So, I mean, typically in the UK, where I'm based, a bank would pay around 4.7 to 5% interest. So, I mean, to hear a 30% rate of interest is interesting. Also, a little maybe concerning as well. So, what assurances can you give to your customers that that is something that will be paid sustainably? In the UK, we have something called the FSCS protection, which basically means our deposits are protected up to a value of £85,000. Is there like a similar regulatory protection that protects our customer deposits? How do I know, for example, if I put, I don't know, £1 million in an account, that my deposit will be protected if the business goes bust or if the bank is unable to protect customer deposits? Those are my two questions. Thank you.
Excellent. Stephen, it's asking for, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks so much for that brilliant question. So in Nigeria, just like you have the consumer protection there, we also have the NDIC here. I mentioned that we're also regulated by the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation. So that's like the safety net. So just like you have it, £5,000 in the UK, you have about 2 billion in Nigeria. Like I mentioned, Barclays story is one of growth. From evolving into just advertising cash, playing the social market into business banking, and now having a full-fledged microfinance bank regulated by the Central Bank of Nigeria and NDIC. So yes, your money is protected. A retail investor or a resident of UK can invest, can also partake in Investpro as long as you can open that account, you can just get through the onboarding stage. We have our wonderful customer experience and a brilliant team willing to support you to actually just cross the onboarding order. So the question becomes, as long as you can open an account with the app, go to your store, download the app, cross the onboarding stage, then you can easily call on board as a retail investor.
So help me make sense of the 30% interest rate, because that sounds very high. How is that maintained sustainably? Is it something where you actually make a profit off the customer deposits, or is it provided at cost as a customer acquisition tool? Is that something you can provide insight into?
So it's actually profitable to us. Recall what Carlo mentioned. So the baseline, the introduction, the first 5 minutes of this conversation, Carlo mentioned something around the NPR rate, right, which is the rate at which CBN will borrow. In the UK, that might be 4%. That might be 4%. In America, it might be lower. But for us, it's around 27% or maybe 22%. So what that means is that even if CBN is coming in to intervene in the market today, right, it will intervene at a rate higher than 20%. So that's already off. So if you now factor in the cost of risk and the margin, even the cost of borrowing, cost of doing business in Nigeria, right? So it's actually profitable for us. The margin is actually very thin. It might not cover some other costs that we would have loved it to cover, but it is such that it is actually profitable to us in lending. So it's not just a customer acquisition play, it is actually a business play. Sustainability, when we have enough room, we have enough money, yes, we can actually decide to stop it. And also don't forget that Investpro will not be there for a very long time. It is just for a short period of time. But as it is today, do we have our margin on the 35%? Yes.
Yeah, well, I'd like just and just like I think I shared something with you again. If you look at the NIBOR, again, NIBOR is not retail. NIBOR is Nigerian Interbank Offer. It's not a retail rate, right? But you can see overnight rates are about 31%, 1 month about 20%. So it's not the rate you would get if you walked in, right? But it just gives you a feel of how the money market, the short-term money market in Nigeria, the rates are going at. MPR is about, let me see, just get my numbers correct. We're going to have that meeting on Monday. So MPR is about 26 already. So any bank lending you money is going to lend you from 26 and above. So rates are high in Nigeria. And the reason why we're having this is to show you where you can get a real rate of return, which means that inflation at 33, let's even call it inflation at 33, right? This is giving you a real rate of return if you had fixed income. That's essentially what the long and short is. This is the real rate of return. Equities used to give real rates of return at the very, very beginning of this year. They've gone down a bit. So this looks like a good place to park money and to invest money to get that real rate D. And D, I've shared something with you. I'm also going to share it on this space as well. You're good, D?
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Victor, thanks for coming back. You've got the floor.
Yeah, thank you so much, Carlo. Thank you, Stephen, for the awesome session. I really enjoyed transacting with the app a couple of days ago when I saw the post on Carlo's page. So I really enjoyed it. I think from my personal analysis, I think this is really good. This is going to be very attractive for people who just want a low risk investment option. You know, and you rightly mentioned, I was going to ask, but you mentioned that the Investpro will not be around for a long time. So it means that it's a short to medium term approach to really get people coming to the platform. So I understand that. I think the only question I would have aside that would be in regards to sustainability, of course, because I think one of the questions I always want to ask whenever I see platforms like this come up is how they make the money, because or how they intend to keep that cycle going, because I think it's very important for people to understand that, okay, this is what happens when you put in your money just for situations where there's so much, pressure coming in for people who get to realize that these rates are over the top, right? So when they start coming in so much at that number, what's going to be the way to keep that, to keep it going and to make sure that customers don't get stuck along the way? Yeah.
Thanks so much, Vito. So one of the things I've learned in financial services over the years, in the last 2 decades, is that nothing stays forever. And the very moment we acknowledge that, then maybe the peace of Israel, as I would mention it. So 35% interest rate will not be there forever. There's a reason MPC, that's the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank, sits multiple times in a year. It is because it just wants to look at the outlook. What is the economy saying? What is the inflation target? Then take decisions. All right. As we speak today, Investpro is there, and like you mentioned, Investpro will not be there forever. We have very wonderful support system internally at Banky, from the board to the Asset and Liability Management Committee, just looking at the numbers, looking at the economy. So as things evolve, if we see that, okay, maybe things are falling and the macro rates are becoming cheaper, the cost of getting people in, and the cost of even what people would pay competitively would actually drop. If it would drop below 35%, then we will stop Invesco. Right, so it will not be there forever. It is not meant to be. It's 5% will not be there this time. I can't put my chest and say Invesco will still be available in the next 4 months or the next 3 months. Right, so it is just what it is right now. If you speak to people off the streets that really need the money, genuinely need money, if you ask them that if you have a deal, they want to discount an invoice, they want to make a supply, they want to stock their shop for 10 bags of pure water, right? Or they want to take a course on Udemy to see what it would cost, right? If you check the cost of borrowing, right, then you might actually be amazed, especially when you are not analyzing. So if banking can actually be there to support this demography, these people that will not try to partner with long term, right? At this point, where their life wouldn't need to pause because things are actually very tight in the economy, right? Then we would definitely go out to support them. As it is today, 35% I agree with you will not be there forever. I cannot beat my chest in as the MD of microfinance, the MD of microfinance, but to say the interest rate will be there by the end of December. So it is just what it is right now, and that's why we're telling people to say, pack your money, come in, because if you come in right now, then you're actually in for the long haul. Once you lock it in, it won't be there to perpetuity. So don't wait till you have 1 billion.
Yeah, I mean, it's a play. If MPR comes tomorrow and says something, it affects this, So, guys, remember, it's a market, and the market is really, really based off what the central bank says. So, I think that's the point bank is making. You have an opportunity today to lock in 35%. To lock in 35%. So, I would say, if you look at the environment for fixed income, look at the NDIC cover, look at the real return. This is the only one that's making a real return for you. I would sort of take that into consideration, talk to your advisor, and then take a decision. Socrates, thanks for coming back. I was looking for you. What's your mind, Socrates?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. Speak up a little bit louder, but you're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was going to ask for him to clarify, on the capital adequacy of, his company, and of course the liquidity ratio. I've heard it makes sense of how they make, profit or how they make money. But I'd like for him to repeat that again, or, because I seem to be having a bit of a connection issue. So just very quickly, the capital adequacy role of the company and the liquidity ratio. From the financial point of view, or from a fintech point of view, I would also prefer he speaks about, the banking licenses they have. And the reasons why I'm very interested in these sorts of questions are because more recently we've had more companies like Payday, a couple of the fintech companies, have trouble issues running their operations. So I'd like you to speak to that a bit. Thank you.
All right, Stephen, did you get that?
Yes, I got that. So we're speaking to the regulatory ratios.
Capital adequacy.
Ratio, liquidity ratio.
In essence, it's asking, are you guys going to be there tomorrow?
Yes, that's exactly what he's asking. Right. So like I mentioned before, I don't know the licenses that these institutions that you mentioned actually have. When we're talking about fintech in Nigeria, I think that's actually one of the most abused industries. So because someone would mention to say, okay, it's an investment platform or it's an investment app. We are a full-fledged microfinance bank regulated by both Central Bank of Nigeria and the insurance company for depositors in Nigeria, that's NDIC. Right, so we are in good standing with all the regulators. We submitted our audited financial account for 2023, fully approved, and periodic reports, monthly periodic renditions are actually being submitted to all the regulators. Right, so in terms of being there tomorrow, we are not to say that, but that's the reason I'm here, right? And that's the reason we have 1 billion people apparently still there. Right, to ensure that we are there right now and we continue to grow. Let me reiterate, bank history is a story of growth. From Ajor digitizing Ajor to agency banking, then getting the microfinance bank license from the Central Bank of Nigeria, right? So it's not just a platform. It's not just you're not there just for payday. You're not there for as a loan shark. We're full-fledged bank to actually doing the intermediation business. Thank you.
If I was just going to piggyback, if I was just going to piggyback in a minute, yeah. So GT Bank, I can speak to the capital equity rule. I just need numbers and facts.
I think what look at it this way. Look at it this way. So it's like look at this. Hold on. They're a licensed microfinance bank. So already that gives us, should we say, a platform. Like they're already in the Olympics, right? We already know where they are. So let's start from there. To ask for numbers specifically, what numbers are going to be historical. So where are you getting at? Are you ask me like where are you going to with this?
Yes, so I really just want to understand how it's easy to sort of like derive GT's number because it's a public company, and it's okay if they don't want to speak to those facts.
It's not a public company.
Probably, yeah. GT is a public company, they're a private company, so it might be a little bit of the chart. They don't want to speak to that. But what I'm driving at is to get a sense of where they are in terms of their financial stability. With facts and figures, yeah. So I just want to look to that. So
I hear you.
That myself.
I hear you. So look at it this way. Again, I don't want to look like I'm defending them. But if they're a licensed microfinance bank and insured by NDIC, you can link a few strings there, right? That's already there. It's not like you said, it's not a fintech. Fintechs are not.
NDIC secures up to about 500,000 naira.
Nope, you're wrong. You're wrong. So I want you, let's research what NDIC secures. Come back to me and then we'll talk. Let me get Promise in here. Promise.
Yeah, hi. My background may be a little noisy because of the trip.
Okay.
But, I find this very interesting, and I just want to ask a few questions. So I work with two fintechs back in Nigeria, and I know a little about them. So I'd like to ask, firstly, what's the background of the executives of this bank? Do they have a good history banking or the finance industry? What is the money invested in? Like security returns for the bank? What's the exit strategy? Things go wrong? Or like what's the long-term business plan of the bank? How do you plan to attract investors without marketing? Because the fintech industry is saturated in Nigeria. And lastly, how do you plan to get updates to investors about these investments? Sorry, I'm a little bit fast with my questions, but
so if I got your question right, you want to know like the board, the background, the company itself. You want to get an idea on that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, definitely.
What's their history? What exactly are you investing this money in to ensure you're getting some returns to sustain this? What's the exit strategy? Say things go wrong, how do you plan to exit, and do you have the customers and investors in mind? What's the long-term goal or business plan of the bank? And when you talk about marketing, are you just using this scheme to attract new customers? And it's just about attracting new customers. What are the other ways you intend to attract new customers? And then in terms of
let him answer the question. Don't give him too much.
all right.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for spending your time while you're translating and trying to join. So I think I'll start from what you talked about around saturation. Like you see around strategy that the fintech space in Nigeria or maybe the banking space in Nigeria is a revolution. You have several institutions, individual consumers, corporate having 3, 4, 5 bank accounts, and really no differentiation, right? Almost everything is commoditized, as we would say. But the question then becomes, do we still have people that are financially excluded? Can you give us a number around consumers that actually have access to credit in Nigeria? Less than 20%, meaning genuinely people that can actually help us drive our GDP. I mentioned the fact that Nigerian GDP, if you look at the components of GDP, 60 to 70%, almost globally is controlled by the consumer. These are people that have actually done more or actually deprived of what they will actually require to drive the GDP. So as long as we still have millions of people with credit, not having access to credit, you have millions, tens of millions of people who would require banking services, financial intermediation services, not having access to that, right? Then there's a problem to be solved. So let's look at it from the problem side. Let's look at anybody here, right? People who genuinely need financial services but do not have it. So as long as the last person is taken out, then there's still a problem to be solved. So as many people that are coming in and taking a stab at solving that problem to get to that ground zero, then there's still opportunity for everyone. So that's the way I would tackle the issue of saturation. Then around my background, I joined Bankley not too long ago, but you will agree with me that if this startup has actually been there for the last 5 years and growing, like getting more licenses for you to actually be doing business, then it's actually working. So personally, I've worked in 3 commercial banks. I've worked in 3 commercial banks. I've worked in the startup. I've worked with another startup. I would love to call this startup of a solution company, a social impact company, corporation of the Lagos State government. Right. So I've worked with like 4 or 5 institutions before joining Bankley, and a few other persons that are part of the management and the body. So in terms of experience, from board to management to everybody with Bankley, I think we are actually familiar with him, that we have experience. So to launch Invest Pro and talk about the thing we're talking about today, we use ChatGPT, right? It is based on what we've done and what we've seen over the years. So that's just to get to the background. So you actually have people who are financial services background. These are not people who just work in their garages and just say, okay, there's money to be made. So this is just passion and what we've done in the last about 15 to 17 years. So that's it. Then around the marketing, yes, people might not necessarily know about Bankley, but we actually just wanted our products to speak for us. Right. We have financial products. Bank has been in the market, like I said, for the last 5 years. Right. You might just be getting to know us, right now. But hopefully, in the next few days, in the next few weeks, you'll be hearing more about us. So this is not just a plea to get more customers in. It's the conversation that we continue to have till, like I said, take a start and solve that financial inclusion problem and ensuring that everyone that actually deserves credit actually gets it. Yeah. I don't know if I answered all your questions.
Promise, do you feel better?
I think I'm also clear about sorry, my background is noisy. I'm not so clear about the background of founders.
Promise, let's do this. Like, if you want the background of the founders, then I'll send you a link, or we can go on and do it. It's a valid question, but we really can't have you read out names, all that kind of stuff. We can easily check that up, right? Can I do that for you, just so I can get others to speak? I'll promise to send you a link with the annual report or the profile of the company. Will that work for you?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, just so I can rotate the room. I'm not supposed to start dropping in and out and all that, yeah?
Yeah, just 2 more questions, right? I didn't get the answer on how you plan to give updates to the investors. And
it's a fixed deposit, promise. So it's not like an investment scheme. It's a fixed deposit. So when you put the money in the bank, the money is running. You go to your bank, you see your money is there. You see your interest paid to you. It's not like stocks per se. If you log in, you see the money there. You can close it out. You can roll it over. It's a per annum basis more or less. And what's the tenure of this thing? What the available tenure, if you don't mind?
Yeah, thanks, Kalu. It's 90, 180, and 365. 365 days being the maximum term.
Gotcha. So you can do 90 when it's 3 months, 90 days, half year or full year, and you just collect your interest promise. It's just simple. Perfect.
And just lastly,
Promise, we gotta go.
okay, all right, thank you.
All right, let me get Obina in here. Obina, you got the floor.
Hello everyone. So just want to chime in a little bit on our, the topic that is ongoing, investing in fixed income. Right. So I currently do have like a project ongoing in Naira, right?
So let me get Obina. Obina, you got the floor. Obina has dropped off. Let's get Brain Sean, you got the floor. Brain.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, Carlo. Thank you so much.
How you doing?
One question.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
for it.
fine. So the question is, I just downloaded the Banky app now. I know Banky at least for worked with them for some time. At least I know Tommy. I don't have a Nigerian phone number, and it's a requisite in there. There's something that I need to put in Nigerian phone number because I'm presently not in Nigeria. So what do you do in this case? Is there anything for email addresses or something? At the moment, I don't have an active Nigerian phone number. What do I do in this case?
Yeah, thanks so much. And just as not peculiar, we have a lot of people who love to actually put money or who have quote unquote black access to pay and want Bankly to actually be like their payouts for their black access, right? So we are working around that, but also because we're in a regulated environment. So when NFIU or EFCC, other regulators around financial intelligence comes around, so there are minimum expectations. So especially at the first onboarding stage, people that are just trying to come on board for the first time. So that's what we're trying to resolve right now. So we are trying to find a way around that. I can tell you we are working on that to solve that problem. But it's just because they're regulated. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
So it's more like KYC. You have to know who you are and all that. So yeah,
correct.
Yeah. So let's okay. Let me get Namani Moses.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Carlo, and Banky. Please confirm you can hear me.
I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for this great opportunity. Well, from my own perspective, this is the first time hearing about Banky. But I've gone through just deep simple research online, and there was some sort of interesting. One second.
Okay, he wants a second. But Stephen, just to come back to this. When I open up,
I'm back now.
okay, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm back now. Okay, so let me just go straight to my question. So I hear Banky explain what they do with should I permit me to use the word investors fund? So is it a combination of giving out loans also to borrowers or equally running a combination of both? What is the percentage split in terms of takes higher percentage? Is it the loans you give out to transactions? And what is your recovery or collection rate? Do you have any debt profile as we speak that people are not paying back?
Yeah, thanks so much. And thanks for the opportunity for us to even showcase one of our credentials. And this is because I go into board credit committee meetings and they ask questions around our credits. We need to bring in credit recovery agents, and we just tell them to say, you know what, we're not there yet. And that's because our condition is 100% for now, right? We call this senior. This is not to say as we evolve, as Banky becomes a bank of 15 years, or when we have a commercial banking license because that's the goal, or when we now conquer Africa, becoming household name in Africa, and we'll have maybe Judas, a Pablo out there. But today, we are speak, the collection rate is 100%. And that can be validated with all the numbers we submitted to CBN. So that's where we are. So in terms of credit, we are an intermediation business. We are a microfinance bank. We are not just a lender. We are operating on a money lender's license you get from the cooperative, Ministry of Commerce or Ministry of Cooperative in the state government. We are a full-fledged bank, microfinance bank, right? So the bulk of our money actually comes from our credits, the loans we give.
Namani, does that answer your question?
Namani?
Can you do so?
Yeah.
Okay.
So every bank takes money from how we lend in Commerce 101. Credit surplus to credit deficient, should we say, institutions or organizations. All a bank does is intermediation. You have money, you give to a bank then lends money out. That's essentially what they're doing. Any way you want to dice it, any way they cut on it, that's essentially what they're doing, financial intermediation. So, let me go back to DMs, a few DMs here. So, someone is asking you, Stephen, if I do 90 days and I come back and do, I think you answer, but just for this sake, if I do 90 days and I come back and I do, okay, he said if I do 90 days and 180 days, will I get the same 35% on both, or will the 90 days be considered my first investment? So he wants to know if he does. I don't think he's going to do it at the same time. Please clarify for me, Bio, if I do it at the same time. He said if I do 90 days paper and I do 180 days paper, will the 180 days paper be considered as my second investment, or will I get 35% on both of them? If you can clarify for that, please.
Yeah, thanks so much. So the way we've designed it right now is that the 90 days will be considered the first investment. After doing the 90 days, then the other investments will not be cumulative. What that means is that the subsequent investment will be 90 days, right? So that's why we tell people to say, you know what, just go long, be disciplined enough, just go long, and you cannot be doing the additional. So if you deposit 100,000 or 500, 1 million for 90 days as your first investment, and the next hour you deposit another 1 million, then that 1 million will terminate within 90 days also.
Okay, perfect. So he hasn't come back to me when he's going to do both. But if he comes to the million, he can, even if he breaks it down, is that going to be the same day, or one has got to be 35 and the others will be just to clarify, if he comes with the 1 million naira cash and he says, okay, I'm going to break it down on the same day, will only one end at 35%? Only one paper that he does on the same day?
Very correct. So the first one would be one that would have a 35%. And the tenor of the first investment, that first lump sum, would actually be 10 of subsequent investments, even if they are 20 in the next 1 hour.
Okay, excellent. Just, before I wind down, we've had you here for almost an hour. I just want to ask you, I always ask my guests when they come here. If I gave you ₦1 million, where would you invest it today? Apart from doing banking.
Yeah, so that's the question of investment objective, investment preference of every individual, and that's because me having 1 million today, the best decision might be to actually repay my loan. For some other persons, the best investment might actually be maybe to invest in stock. For some other persons, might be to even diversify what they have already. Maybe they have investments elsewhere. So it's a function of every individual. But what I tell people is that for whatever you want to do, ensure it's something that you're actually leveraging maybe the problem or providing a solution, the problem within the community that you're in, or just providing a solution to some other persons, right? That maybe you can actually be paid for the capital and return can actually come to you for investing that 1 million. So every individual would have the investment objective, this investment peculiarity. Right. But for me, 1 million, like I said, the 1 million might actually just be just buying stuff, maybe just buying some stuff, maybe helping maybe some other persons, maybe putting it in Investpro also, right?
I was hoping you wouldn't fall for my trap and say you wouldn't invest in Investpro. You got to invest in Investpro. Yeah, that's going to be the best. Excellent. All right, got you. So let's just have two last questions. My two last questions. I'll go from Chukuma, and then we'll take one from, I think the other guy has dropped off. Let me take the last one from Chukuma, and then we'll sort of wrap it up. Chukuma, you've got the floor. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Can you guys hear me? Please confirm.
Loud and clear, sir. Loud and clear. Go for it.
Okay, two quick questions. Do you accept deposits in USD for this 35%? And for both USD and Naira deposits, do you have any limits for the first deposit?
Thanks so much. This is Naira-based investment. It's local currency-based investment. I don't know if you have people from CBN in this space or my regulator in this space. I'm not allowed to actually play in the FCY market, right? So we are referring to LCY and local investment right now. So no USD, no Euro, no GBP, no yen. Right, so it's local Naira investments.
I think it's one of the second question. Chuma, what was the second question again?
No, the second question the limit for the first deposit.
Correct, yeah.
No, there's no limit. There's no limit. There's no limit. Even though we are saying there's no limit, we also acknowledge that there are constraints because in Nigeria today accounts are tiered. We're a digital bank, money coming in from other bank, you add limits there, right? So even if you're saying there's no limits, except your name starts with a D and you own a refinery, and you want to provide us with maybe 20 billion or 30 billion, right? So we also understand that the limits around the retail space, which is systemic, is also there, right? So there's no limit, it's not capped.
And again, but we didn't talk really a lot about what's happened in the US. The US has dropped rates. They went big, 50 basis points drop. The projection is that they're going to keep on doing this till the end of the year, about 2 or 3 rate falls this year. That means that rates in the US are going to go from, they were about 5%. They might be at 3% by the time 2025 is over. So 35% in Nigeria is in Naira. If I had welfare remittances to make in Nigeria, that means I'm always making transfers to Nigeria to pay for house rent or to pay for school fees. I would do everything in bulk today, lock in my 35%. 35% in any day, even plus Sunday is a wonderful rate because it's for Nigeria. So if I know I'm going to pay Mama in a car, I'm going to buy a bicycle for Tunde, I'm going to buy fertilizer for Abdul, do it today, lock in 35%, because we don't know what the CBN might do on Monday. They might take a cue from the Fed and drop rates. If CBN drops rates in the economy would also, they'll take that cue. So I would say, whatever you want to do, like they'll say in the Bible, whatever you want to do it quickly. Don't say, let me wait and see. It's 35%. Their microfinance bank, I mean, he got some really tough questions thrown at him, and I think has answered it very well. If you're going to do remittance to Nigeria to pay your bills in Nigeria, lock in the 35%. Rates go to 40, it doesn't matter. 35 any day of the week is always a good rate. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Kalu. Even though we're saying and we're projecting that United States elections even come, we expect them to actually drop rate because everybody has been battling inflation caused by COVID. But if you look at money supply in Nigeria today right now, we know that over 5 years, even before the last CBN drop now, we've been battling the gap between the broad money and the narrow money. So yes, by CBN templates, by CBN standard, and what they're seeing, right, there's too much money in the economy, quote unquote. This is first thing. We can check the statistics on the numbers on the broad money and the narrow money, right? And the broad money is actually still growing. Right? So the CBN will continue to ensure they actually pay that. So till that inflation comes to a number that is significantly below 20%, that's significantly below 20%, or maybe possibly back to the days of 10%, 11%. I don't see our NPR dropping significantly, or maybe half of what it is today. Right. So the broad money issue is still there, and CBN just trying to actually bring that money into the system to actually convert it to narrow money. So, for example, you know better. The correlation done by the cashless policy or whatever exactly to actually bring this entity down. That's the broad money. So as long as that broad money is still very high, right? Yes, this is not to say the rate will not drop in Nigeria, interest rate will not drop in Nigeria, NPR rate will not drop in Nigeria, NIBOR will not drop in Nigeria. It is just to say it will not be significant as long as that gap is still there. That's the broad the gap between broad money and narrow money.
Gotcha.
Sorry for the technical term.
I hear you. Tim, can I just give you a notice? I've got two guys here. They will ask their questions, they will drop off, you will answer, and then we'll close it out for the day. Because I think they've been here. I don't think I saw them. So I've got Prince and Dio. Let's do Prince, then we'll do Dio. Just go ahead and ask the question. Then Stephen will answer the questions, and then we'll just cut today. So I've got Prince first, then I've got Dio. Prince, go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Carlo. I'm just joining now. I would like Barclays representative to briefly explain what this investment is all about before they enter in space. Yes, that would be nice. Yes.
It's just a fixed deposit product, and they are offering 35% per annum on the first deposit that you make. They've got three, I would say, segmented deposit tenures, 90, 180, 360, that you can put the funds in. And for the last 1 hour, we're talking about his background, the bank's background, why they're into this space, the demographics they are targeting. We even talked about the US, how the question of interest rate and inflation do matter with the rates that we have. So in summary, it's a fixed deposit product that you can get from them. They're a microfinance bank registered in Nigeria, also with the NDIC. If you invest with that tenure, you get that rate guaranteed paid to you. That's what essentially what we talked about in the last 1 hour. If you want more information on Prince, follow that handle. You can also ask a question. So guys, if you have questions when we close the space and you still want to ask questions, you can just make sure you use that hashtag, right? So that way they can get back to you after the space is over. Please make sure you use that hashtag that we share. So that way after the space is done, they can basically get back to you. That's hashtag Bankley Invest Pro. So Bankley Invest PRO, Bankley Invest Pro. Use that hashtag. They will spot it and they can request or get back to you with an answer. So Prince, did I do a good summary on that?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Excellent. Yes, so let's do Dio and Oaks and then we'll call it today. Dio, go ahead. Dio?
Hope everybody's hearing me loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you, Dio. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity, and Barclays, thank you so much. My question to go straight to the point is that I'm on the Barclays app and I could see the maturity 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. My question is, if I invest 3 million based on the calculation I'm having, the interest, which is about 1,050,000, can it be paid upfront and only the capital will be paid at the end of the year, or will I wait till the end of 1 year for the interest and the capital to be paid together? That's my question, sir.
I like that question.
Yeah, thanks, Dio. That speaks to how savvy you are. So for InvestPro, the way the team has designed it, the way we designed it is that it should be paid at the end of the term with the principal. So it is not one you get your interest upfront. So to be paid at the end of the term.
No problem. Thank you so much.
All right, let's get Oxley. Oxley, you're the last guy to speak, so yeah, go ahead. Oxley, go ahead. Oxley, going once. Oxley, going twice. All right, Stephen, I think Oxley is not ready yet. So, Stephen, I think the time flies, right? We've been here, give or take about an hour, talking investment, talking fixed income, which we do every Sunday. Thanks for joining us. I think you've given us some key insights. We want to give you solutions, and this is a solution for those that have got cash and want to invest it without taking the risk of, say, risking the principal. Say this is fixed income. There's variable income, which is investing in equities, but this is more, you put the money aside, you get the fixed rate of return, you can run with that. We've also dropped the hint that this is also fantastic for those that are abroad, in the diaspora, that have local bills. Maybe those bills are due in 90 days. Bring the money home, invest it here, get the interest, and use that interest to pay your local bills. Like I told you many times, you pay school fees, bring the principal in here, use the coupons, and pay your school fees. The principal is still here. You can keep it here. You don't have to start to transfer money from America or UK to Nigeria. There are many ways you can run with this. Nigeria is, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but we have high interest rates. It favors you if you can bring in those dollars, convert to Naira and spend in Nigeria. It's one advantage, quote unquote, to might say the diaspora have, and that's why remittances are pouring in because of the high interest rate. So, Steve, let me allow you to really give your closing remarks and then we'll call it today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kadra. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for the brilliant question. And over 200 people that listen to us. So, like I mentioned, Barclays has been there for the last 5 years and will continue to be there, hopefully, in the next 500 years. But InvestPro as a product has 35%. InvestPro at 35% will not be there forever. Right? So, get all the lump sum in and just lock it in long term. And the purpose of the InvestPro, like I mentioned at the beginning of the call, is not just for the 35%, it's to actually just discipline us. People would tell you that to be a billionaire, you can't, it's not just savings, you need to invest, you need to take some risk. But the question is, how do you take risk without having your own sweat equity? How do you take your own, do your investments, ask people to give you money, right? Without showing that ability that you have, you've actually been very disciplined. And even saying out of it, so actually see you have something that you can actually now invest your own money into. So that's what Barclays is out there for. That's what InvestPro is out there for. To just support you along the journey. Thank you so much, Gavin.
All right, you're welcome. I appreciate you joining us for this Just Talk Money. We like to talk money here and all that. So, guys, thank you so much, guys. It's going to be a wonderful week. CBN meets, lots of other stuff are going to happen this week. Again, like I always say, when you want to invest, keep it simple. Talk to your advisor. If you can't take risks, don't do risks, even if it's paying you more, right? And that's basically going to be your pathway to success in the market of investing. All right, guys, have a good one. I'll see you guys here again next week. We'll, of course, talk again money, personal finance, and, of course, the economy. My name is Kalu Aja. Thanks, Steven. Thanks, Barclays. Thanks, InvestPro. I'll see you guys next time. If you do have a question, like I said, ask the question with Invest Barclays. Let me get the exact word, the exact hashtag. If you use that hashtag, then the folks that are in the back end can come back and basically answer that question. So use that hashtag so they can pick up that question at the back end, and then they can, of course, follow up with you. Barclays InvestPro. That way they can get back to you. Or if you send me a DM, I'll send to them. Not a problem. Send me a DM, I'll send to them. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Love you guys. See you guys next week. Have a good one, and bye.